Right, it is a Monday and we are live. So back in business. I was a little bit ropey over the last few days. Sore throat, runny nose, all that sort of stuff. So running my challenge. What's going on with my bonnet? So doing my challenge last week was a bit of a struggle the last couple of days, but I'm back in business. I'm here and it is the Health is Wealth show. This is episode number 28. Just checking there. It's episode 28. And if you're watching the replay, do let me know in the comments. Stick hashtag replay down in there. Let me know you've seen this video. And if there's any questions during this video about today's topic or any other topic for that matter, let me know. Stick them in the comments and I can always come back and answer them later on. So today's topic is a question that I get quite often. It's how often should I measure? How often should I do progress photos when I'm trying to lose weight? So I wanted to answer that one because it is something that crops up quite often. And if you're not taking your measurements or photos, then you should be, because it's going to say, well, it's going to tell you whether you're heading in the right direction. But before we delve into that, make sure you like and you share this video. Let me know what's going on in your life. How was your weekend? Okay, did you have a good weekend? Hopefully better than mine, because I was pretty much told to stay in the bedroom for most of the weekend. Even did a couple of COVID tests, but I was all negative. So man flu, whatever you want to call it, but on the mend now. So today's episode, how often should you do those measurements? Okay, when you're trying to lose weight, how often should you weigh yourself? Should you do your inches and take your progress photos? So for me, well, let's back up a little bit. So first off, you'll notice that I'm not just saying weight, okay? Yes, it's good to know what your weight is, but you should be doing your measurements, so your inches, bust, waist, hips, thighs, arms, all that business. Make sure you've got that in place as well as your weight. Now, I know a lot of you watching this will have only just done the weight. So many people I say this to, right? You've got to do your measurements. Do your measurements. They don't do the measurements. So if you're watching this, make sure that you do take your measurements, because you've got to have both. There's going to be some weeks where your weight doesn't move, but the inches are still coming down. And if that's the case, then it's all good, right? And certain weeks, the weight might not come down and inches might not come down. And you think, okay, what's going on there? And you need to reflect on that and figure out what's going on, rather than beating yourself up if the weight has stayed the same. So part of keeping tabs on your weight, on your inches, on your photos, is to be able to then look back. What have I done well over the last few weeks? What have I not done so well? Did anything crop up over the last couple of weeks or so that has made me get slower progress? So you need to take out the emotion occasionally. Take that emotion out, just put it to the side and think, right, what happened over these last few weeks? What was I good at? What was I not so good at? And what cropped up that caused all sorts of things to break loose? So kids being sick, for instance, me being sick like the last few days. But I know if you've got kids at home, so when they're sick, your routine can get shunted a little bit. So you've got to look over those last few weeks and see what's going on. So if things aren't going in the right direction, like, okay, so that's fine. Give myself a pass on that one. Or perhaps you're not getting enough sleep. So these are things that you've got to look at. So then going forward, you can think, right, I'm going to try doing better this and this and this, and then track each week as you go. And the reason I do it, for me, the reason I say each week is whenever I'm working with clients on a one-to-one basis or any group basis, I want to make sure that they're heading in the right direction. So I recommend that we do it week in, week out. We track the stats, weight, inches, photos, so we can see the changes, see what's going on, and not get too far away. So if you're only tracking once a month or once every 6 weeks, or even more, further than that, down the line, then it's very easy to get off track, and it makes it harder for you to recalibrate, to bring it back to where you should be. So make sure that you are keeping tabs on your inches measurements so that you don't get too far away from your goals. Okay, so if things aren't going right, you bury your head in the sand, which is not the thing to do. Definitely not bury your head in the sand. And sometimes taking these measurements, taking the photos in particular, can be a bit of a scary thing to do. It can also be a bit of a kick up the backside. But if you haven't got all three, weight, measurements and photos, then you've got to do this. Okay, make sure you do this. If you haven't got it done today, if you haven't got these in place and your goal is to lose weight, make sure you get them done by the end of the day. So weight, inches everywhere, bust, arms, waist, hips, thighs, the whole shebang, get them all done, and then track them over the next few weeks. See what's going on. And at the end of 4 weeks, evaluate how you've been getting on. So how far the weight has come down, what are the inches doing, what are the differences in photos. And the reason we get you to do photos, sure, there's not going to be a big difference week in, week out, but over a number of weeks, so say 4 weeks, there's going to be a decent difference. 8 weeks should be a very good difference. And by 12 weeks, there should be a very noticeable difference in your before and after photos. And the photos give you that visual feedback. Because one thing, saying, okay, I've lost some inches, the scale's down a few pounds, but you want that visual feedback that gives you that pat on the back that says, yes, I'm changing my health. It's working. I am looking better. I'm fitting into my clothes better. So it's important to do all measurements and then reflect on your progress over the weeks so that you are heading in the right direction. And if you're not, you can reflect and see what's going on and see what you need to change. Okay. Very important that you do that. So take out that emotion, put it to one side and think, right, what have I done well? What have I not done so well? And what can I do better going forward? Set yourself a goal for the next 4 weeks and think, right, this is what I need to do in terms of my habits, in terms of my exercise, my diet, and work towards that goal from there. So key thing for you to take away for today's show is take out the emotion when you're doing your tracking, so weight, inches, and photos, but also take those 3 things. So weight, photos, measurements, make sure you do them and don't just rely on the scales, okay? All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. Just a short one today. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you found that valuable, make sure you give me a like, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to, we're being Black Friday this Friday coming up, if you want to know how you can work with me personally and for 90 days, in fact. So I have a 90-day transformation program, and we have a little Black Friday deal going on soon. So if you're interested in transforming your life, not just for a few weeks, but for the rest of your life, looking to get permanent results, permanent change, then stick, I don't know, what should we say? Should we say stick black down in the comments? Okay. So if you're interested in that and you are ready to make changes whilst still, I did a video on this the other week. If you want to lose weight, you've got to prioritize yourself. Okay. And if you're ready to prioritize yourself while still being an incredible mom, an incredible partner, and still getting all your work done, then check it out. Okay. Come and have a chat with me. Stick black down in the comments and I'll make sure I'll make sure that I reply to you and we can have a bit of a chat and take it from there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. I will see you on Thursday for more Health is Wealth show. Any questions at all, stick them in the comments and I will see you later. Bye for now.